Start off just by introductions. I'm Chris Thrasher. I'm Director of Innovation and Product Management for Meristem. We've got Mike McNitch. He's basically the mastermind for our plots here. So he's done all the legwork and getting our plots set up. So him and Isaac, Big Buddha up in North Country, they're going to be demonstrating the concentrate systems that we have. And then after that, we'll go over and do a kind of a short demonstration of a drone application with our TrueTrack fungicide pass. What I really want to start off with today is we talked about the 4 keys. So we have a key here in our booth. We're going to start off talking about biologics and what we do at Meristem to ensure that you're successful with biologics in your operation or in your customer's operations. You know, I've been doing biologics for, I want to say about 15 years now. I like to say I was doing biologics before they were cool, you know, and you know, my wife says I've never been cool, but you know, she's got her own opinion. What I really want to focus on today with you in our first 10 to 12 minutes is what we do to help you keep biologicals alive on your farm. You know, I made this statement in the last session, and we had some of our partners that do biologics, and you know, I'm gonna start off by saying most every company has a good biologic that they're positioning. But the problem is with their positioning. You know, we give ourselves a grade on how we do with the 6 Ps, as Mitch called it. You know, and one thing I think we do a phenomenal job in is how we position products, and especially biologics. You know, everything that you do, I remember when I was working ag retail many years ago, I was working with a corn breeder down in Georgia, and as you can tell by my accent, I'm not from Wisconsin, so I live in Alabama. That's where I'm born and bred. And he was talking about the genetics at the time and the yield potential of a bag of seed corn. So he'd take a bag of seed corn, he'd set it up on a table, and he'd say, what do you think the yield capacity of this germplasm in this bag of seed corn? You know, of course, everybody had their own opinion of what the yield potential of that was. But at the end of the day, he said, there's 1,000 bushel potential in this bag of corn. Then he'd open it. He said, now it's 500. So it's kind of breathtaking. He's like, well, what happened to the 1,000? Well, everything you do from the time that you open that bag of corn seed is how can you protect yield? How can you increase that yield potential of that germplasm? That's what we're doing at Meristem. It's all about products. You know, what kind of products are we putting out there, and are we increasing the ability for your operation to utilize biologics and other technologies in the marketplace? You know, that's one thing beautiful that I've enjoyed about Meristem is we're really not basic or tied to any type of technology. We're in what's best for you, your operation, and your growers. So today I want to start off with 5 products that we really feel like we've positioned in the marketplace to help with that biological sense. Number 1, as Mitch talked about this morning on regenerative ag, is we have a nitrogen stabilization product that's biological friendly. You say, well, what does that mean? You know, so many people say biological friendly, biological safe. What does that truly mean? Well, most of your traditional nitrogen stabilizers use, you know, chemical base to kind of protect that nitrogen prill from the biological activity actually breaking that particle down into a usable form for the plant. Well, at Meristem, we use, with our Maintain Elite and In-Gear Dual Action, we use a calcium-based product that protects the nitrogen prill, or whatever that nutrient you're trying to stabilize, and also protects the biologics. So that's our first step in protecting biologics. And also with our nitrogen stabilization product, you know, we're really trying to put that money back into the farmer's pocket when it comes to their fertilizer spend. The second product is the one we talked about a little bit today. Peter Rustinellis talked about our excavator AMS. This is a new product we just come out with. It's our same excavator technology that probably most of you used, just using a water conditioner with it. So adding the AMS to it. And so, well, why would you do that? Well, there again, we're in that regenerative ag. We're not selling carbon. We're not trying to sign you up for carbon practices. We'll never do that because that's not the type of company we are. But as you can see in this field, there's a clear line to where the growth and promotion difference starts and stops with a soybean field, and it's consistent across the field. Mike, what did you do on this side of the field?
So on this side of the field, I sprayed Excavator AMS last fall, and on that side, it was nothing. So it's about almost down the split of this tent. You can see it, and if you guys can't see it quite down this way, then you guys are more than welcome to climb up on the edge of the trailer and take a look at it. But, and yeah, the ground rolls a little bit here, but it don't roll all the way across the field like that. You can see the line all the way from one end to the other. And then when you guys get out here on this other side, you guys can kind of see where we have untreated versus AMS. We also added hop throttle with ether and upshift C where we have some beans with, and then just regular beans. And then same thing down that end with corn. And then also in the dead center we have AMS. There's about a 20-foot strip there with it, and then versus completely untreated with nothing planted in it.
Exactly. So we want to show that what we're selling actually works. And like I said, doesn't always happen that way, but you know, we very fortunate to be able to show a new product and how it actually works. You say, well, what does that got to do with biologics? Well, we're actually using those biological packages in here along with our surfactant and AMS system to reduce the amount of field passes across the field. So cutting out that tillage pass. But also, I remember when I was working in ag retail, I had a mentor as a large farming operation, and he really took me in and trained me about a lot of things. But you know, when I was working in ag retail, what was I selling? I was selling fertilizer, I was selling seed. Never heard of, you know, well, I haven't heard of biologics, but it wasn't part of my normal, you know, sale that I was going out to try to accomplish. Well, I'd go out and do all these soil samples for him, do all these fertilizer sales, all these fertilizer application. And I'd go and do these soil tests, and his P and K levels would be adequate for the following season for what he was trying to accomplish in his yield. But he said, Chris, I still want you to apply these. I was like, well, why are you spending money if you don't have to? He said, Chris, that's my bank out there. He goes, we were blessed to have a good crop this year to make a little bit of money. I'm going to put it back into my field. Well, when you do that and you have your crop residue, what's left in that crop residue? You may remember what Peter said, the University of Illinois says is left in Stover. It was 90 pounds of 90 pounds of N, 18 pounds of P, and 104 pounds of K in your stover. We really feel strongly that we're getting a 10-30-30 by using a excavator product and recovering some of that nutrient value into your next crop. So you say, well, what does that have to do with the bank? Well, we all like dividends from our bank, right? We always like a little bit of interest from our bank. Well, that's our dividend. So being able to pull some of those nutrients back into your next crop, that's free money. That's things that you've paid for already and you've earned. Why not cash in on that with just a simple application of an excavator AMS? Next is a kind of a hot topic right now. You know, I've been talking this talk for, you know, like I said, 15 plus years on, you know, water, you know, the value of your water source that you're using. You know, especially with the excavator, we were seeing some fields that were having great success, but also fields that wasn't having any success with the excavator. So we started doing a little research, and the common denominator was based off the water source that we're using. The ones that were unsuccessful were using mainly municipality water from a water system, you know, local, rural, whatever that may be. And you got to think about, what do they put in water to keep it safe for you? Chlorine, okay? So they put chlorine in water to keep it from building up bacteria. Well, what are we putting into these products? Anybody know what goes in them? Bacteria and fungus. You say, well, that don't sound good. My wife always told me not to bring any of it home, but been pretty successful so far not doing that. But anyway, we want to make sure that we're not killing the product as soon as we put it into our tank mix. You say, well, now, Chris, I know if I put my water out in a tank for 24 hours, that's going to gas off, all the chlorine's gone. You're probably right if it was chlorine. But most of your water supplies now are using chloramine. So chloramine is a little more stable form that can stay in water for longer. Because what do they do with water? They go put it in a big tank and store it for you in a rural area to use when you need it. Well, they were having the same problem of the chlorine gassing off, so they're using a little more harsh of a material to make sure that that chlorine stays in that water for longer. So we do have a product called BioUp that we'll be releasing this year. It's simply a dechlorination product for water. I do strongly suggest that you consider putting a water filtration system on your water wagon that you're using or wherever you're getting your water from. And that's not only for my products, but any biologic product you use. So you may still be using some products from other companies that are biologics. Trust me, I'm sure they'll tell you the same thing. Oh yeah, chlorine's bad for our product. If they're not, you might want to double check what company you're working with, because it's common science. These bacterial products that we put in there are an important part of that formulation. Next is the BioCapsule. Now everybody knows the hopper throttle, the BioCap system. Most of you probably use that, but this year we are releasing an LR capsule. And as we heard earlier, we don't need to think about the BioCapsule as biologics. It's only a method of delivering biologics. And why do we use that BioCapsule? You may know why that BioCapsule is so important. Keep things alive. I've worked in the biological industry and spent millions of dollars through research facilities that I've managed of trying to mix biologics with other things, either from an in-can solution. I walked in the doors of Bayer about 8 years ago, and the guy said, "I want what you got, as long as you can promise me it's alive for 2 years." Couldn't do it. Couldn't promise it. Well, with this BioCap system, we know, somebody asked me earlier, what's the shelf life of your products? Well, we know the EPA is going to restrict some of these languages that we can use on timing, but most of them, 2 years is what we're labeling for these biocapsules, with the exception of our Brady Rhizobium product in our legume crops. So if you use a pea and lentil or a dry bean or a soybean pale, excuse me, those are only a 1 year shelf life product. So the BioCaps are really, and as you'll see today and tomorrow when you go inside, Dr. Bachmeier's done some really extensive studies at AIP on what is that actual delivery of what we're putting into the capsule, and are we truly getting what we're claiming to the planter and through the planter. And then the next thing, going into our concentrates, talking about Upshift C. Upshift C has been a game changer for Meristem and for you. We have moved, as Mitch said earlier, and displaced over 10 million gallons of liquid starter fertilizer with Upshift C in our first year. I mean, I got in a little trouble this month because I didn't forecast enough. So that's part of my job, is forecasting products. And we don't have any past numbers to go off of. So I take these guys' forecast that they turn in, and I try to break it up into when we should normally be moving product. Well, they quadrupled what we had forecasted for this, the month of July. So we're really leaning hard on our suppliers to make sure they're able to deliver products in a timely manner. But that's our promise to you, is that we'll always make sure that you're getting good products. And these guys are going to show you, because the only thing we run into with a concentrate system is, oh, that sounds complicated. Can I do that? And like I said, most of you have probably already done this on your farm. Some of you may have had success, some of you may have had not so good a success with some of these concentrates. So I'm going to turn it over to Mike and Isaac. They're going to show you how to be successful with these concentrate systems and use them on your farm.
So what we're going to do is we're going to, here in a couple minutes here, just have you come out here. We're going to do a demonstration and show you guys how to mix the Upshift C, and then we'll also show you how to mix AquaDraft Premium or AquaDraft Extreme. We can get this. And but yeah, if you guys have any biological questions, feel free to ask Chris. Try to stump him, because he's pretty darn good at it, so he just doesn't give himself enough credit. So, but yeah, we'll let you guys stretch your legs. Come up here. We'll do a quick demonstration on how easy it is to mix Upshift C, and then we'll show you guys. We'll actually mix Extreme and show you guys how to do that. So what we did is we already put 25 gallons of water in here. We're gonna just mix it at 1 pound per gallon, just to kind of show you guys. I mean, a lot of you guys are probably mixing it at ½ pound, but we're just gonna do it at 1, show you how easy it is to get it in solution. We'll do that, then we'll jump over here, and then we'll get into the concentrates. And I know some of you guys, is that a lot of you guys familiar with Upshift C or anything? Or
who's never made it? Who's had problems making it? I already know Jeff. He's got a lot of problems. Anybody else? What'd you have?
Well, we had a little bit of concentrate left over, and we were going to just throw it in our side dress. And we have maintained the inductor and didn't mesh.
Sure. That's good. Phosphorus and calcium, they hate each other.
So when you mix this, you are the toller. So you're going to mix this product with water and make it. Once it's in solution, then we can start adding products to it. If you have other products mixed in, or trying to put them in at the same time, you're going to have trouble. Because it's no different than, you know, a 1034-0, 624-6, something like that. When you receive that at your farm, it's already made, so you can add your stuff to it. Here, you have to make the product because you are the toller. Once it's made in water, then you can add your zinc or your nitrogen or anything else that you want to put in there.
So we make this. It looks really easy. It is very easy, but I think last year we made it sound too easy. Just throw it in like making Kool-Aid, right? You do have to move this product. You can't just, I had a farmer this year, I went out to the farm and he had some settled out in a tote, and he said, was swearing at me, right? That's how we get treated. Then we come back to work every day. So I said, how'd you make the product? Well, I filled this tote up and then I poured the bag in there. I said, you ever made Kool-Aid before? Well, yeah. I said, so did you just pour the Kool-Aid packet in water and drink it? Well, no, I stirred it. No shit. So you got to stir it, right? If you get big in this product and you're making tens of thousands of gallons, the guy that left in the last group is a customer of ours about an hour north of here, 2 hours north. He sells 80 to 100,000 gallons. It's very simple. You get a cone bottom tank. One tote makes 4,000 gallons, right? All the research that you see in anything of ours is done at ½ a pound per gallon. And that replaces 1 gallon of 1034-0 or whatever flavor starter you have. So we took an inductor, we cut the top off it, we dumped the bulk bag through the inductor. We put a jet right here and a jet right there to help it spin, and we shoot it into the bottom of that cone bottom tank. So that takes 10-15 minutes to dump that in there. Once that's in there, he has recirculating valves. I have pictures of this and stuff I can show you guys. Basically, it comes out the bottom, goes through the pump, and it comes back in halfway up on both sides. By the time your water fills up, it's done. Like I said, he did close to 100,000 gallons, zero complaints, no settling, nothing.
The key is recirculation.
Right.
Right? I mean, just like he said, keep moving. I mean, we're going to do a 25 gallon here out of a 2-inch hose and back in a 1-inch hose. So we're gonna do it pretty quick. But like he says, when you start doing 2,000 gallons at a time, just good agitation.
We're mixing at £1 pound per gallon, so it's a little bit harder. We're also using 85-degree water, and you know, we're using 40 in the spring, so that slows it down a little. But this literally will mix like Kool-Aid, but just make sure you mix it good.
So I'm gonna fire this up and we'll dump something in and show you guys how quick it mixes up. That's good. So really with that good of agitation, I mean, it can go in. If you guys have made liquid AMS, this is twice as easy. So right about now, you're good to go. It's completely mixed.
If you haven't seen it and you're able and want to, you can come up the trailer and look at it. We'll pump it over, you can see it.
But yeah, I'll leave this in here. You can look in it there, you can look in it in the tote. But now we'll jump on the other side and kind of talk about our concentrates and that. So,
is there any questions on that product, mixing it, what it does, how it works, any of that?
So right now we got 25 gallons of water in here. Is any of you guys using our concentrate and making your own AquaDrift Premium or Extreme right now? Okay, a couple of you. Is there some guys that have no idea what we're talking about? Feel free to raise your hand, there's no problem in it. Yeah, so what we're doing is essentially taking the idea that Coca-Cola had 60 years ago and doing what they're doing. We're cutting out all the trucking, we're bringing you a concentrated product, and we're gonna do 1 part concentrate, 9 parts water. So then you can mix it yourself, because probably every one of you guys has the equipment at home and have already paid for it for some other purpose, so you might as well multi-use it to help your business make more money.
So we sell these products made, right? You can buy AquaDraft Premium and packaged or in totes, or you can buy Extreme. So what we're doing is we're selling you the concentrate, so we're putting you at distribution level pricing. You're doing the work. It's basically putting 45, 50% margin back in your product. You can buy the product, and we'll make up numbers, $18 a gallon. Or you can make it for $9 a gallon. So you're basically at distribution level. Same with the starter. You're basically, depends on the market, but 30 to 50% under the market of 1034.0, 624.6. Last year it got closer with 1034.0, but that's back up $200 a ton. So now you're back in that 40% price range. So you're adding margin to your business, and you're actually adding margin back to your customer as well with a better product.
So what we're gonna do is you're basically gonna liquefy AMS, and then we're gonna add, if you were gonna make and replace AquaDraft Premium, you would add just the AquaDraft C. That makes premium with the liquid AMS. And if you're gonna make Extreme, you're gonna use both concentrates. So it's a 9-part, 1 part this, 9-part water AMS, and then, or a 1-1, and then an 8. And so if anybody wanted to get into doing this, we can help you get set up, help you with the system kind of. We've been around quite a few of them, set some up. And we can also help you with the math. The most crucial part is making sure that the math is done correct so that the product gets made proper. Because if you get too much AMS in there, it could separate and things can get pretty ugly pretty fast. And we don't want you to have problems. I mean, if you go out and you make it and the information isn't correct and you have the wrong numbers, you're gonna be very, very frustrated. And you're gonna just wish you would have probably bought it already made from us. So that's the key. So if somebody's interested in that, feel free to talk to us afterwards. We can get you set up with that information. But we're kind of running short on time, so I'm gonna get making this real quick. Like I said, you're more than welcome to come up and look at it, or we can take questions afterwards. So I'll fire this up and he'll liquefy the AMS right now. He'll start dumping it in. Okay, so once that AMS is in solution, which obviously is pretty quick here with a small deal, but at a bigger one, it's gonna take you quite a bit longer. But then what I'm gonna do is, since we're making Extreme, I'm gonna go ahead and dump the TruTrack first, which is an oil base. And I know, like from a mix standpoint, oil goes last. But on this particular one, you're gonna do the oil first. Very important to do them in the right order. So because we have 25 gallons of water, we're using 2.5 gallons for that ratio. So we're able to do this pretty quick at small volumes, but like I say, if you're making, you know, using like a 2,000 pound super sack, you're gonna make about 720 gallons of finished product. It's gonna take you about half hour, 35 minutes. By the time you make sure that AMS, you get it dumped in slow enough, that it's getting mixed up in solution good, and then once the AMS is in solution, you can start dumping the concentrates in. They mix up pretty quick, so that's pretty. So with that short amount of time, just on that 25 gallons, we now have a finished product of AquaDraft Extreme. Once it's made like this, it's good forever. It's no different than us making it and sending it to you in a truckload or in a tote or even in package. So any questions for the whole thing? Okay. I'm gonna have you guys jump on the other side. What they're gonna do is they're gonna do a demonstration over there. They're gonna spray water, and then they're gonna put our TruTrack fungicide surfactant in there and show you kind of the differences between the two. And I apologize because we ran a little longer than we should have, so.
Crank that.
So what we'll do now is he's going to add the TruTrack in at a 1 ounce per acre rate. That's normally what we're comfortable running with. We haven't found that we need more than that. So it's kind of hard to see the difference right now because there's really zero wind, but what we're looking for is just those droplets to fall faster. We run True Track in every one of our loads. We ran it across 100,000 acres with the drones last year, and gonna be the same this year. I've never seen a load sheet that doesn't have it in there. Our owner, Chad, which you guys will hear on a panel later, big fan of this product and the stuff that we have just for the drones. It's not something that you're gonna see, obviously, a major return on investment on like some of the other products, but it's something that's very necessary, and you know that you're getting uniform coverage regardless of if you're doing it with drone, ground rig, or however you spray. So I know we're running short on time. If you guys have any questions, drone related, True Track related, you're more than welcome to fire away.